All right, so I'm starting to get a little frustrated. I don't know. I grew up in the American system. Uh, did the whole welfare thing, ate beans and rice. But we were told that life would get better. You just keep working hard, and so we did. I have nine brothers and sisters, same parents. I think that's important. You don't see that too often. And two immigrant parents. So just if you talk about the American system, like I think we were a great example, and I'm talk positive about it. Because it was there, it worked for us, and so you just believe in the system and you move forward. So just public school, 50% black, 50% Mexican. Everybody got along. I mean, you have the occasional fights and things like that, but it's just normal school. People were driven, like played football. Uh, my situation is a little bit different. I'm not trying to get into all that. Just the American system, so went to college, went to University of Nevada, Reno, loved it. Actually went to school at Kaepernick. So kind of his whole story, what's going on with him is just, it's my inspiration, I guess you can say. And so he's a big inspiration. His and my story are completely different, not one and the same, but that he utilizes the American system, and I think that's important, and that's kind of what I compare. So now I'm at a crossroads with what happened with me. I was went to college, the whole thing. It didn't graduate. I actually started with CarMax, and I didn't graduate. So didn't graduate. Maybe a year, maybe six, couple classes, a seminar class. I basically dropped out to go to work. I was like, the money's there. I don't necessarily need to finish my degree. Like, I can make good money. I can be happy. Making 60,000 a year. It was good. Life was good. I loved it. Loved my job. And then it's time to move up. I'm like, okay, well, what's next? For me, and I started making moves. Made moves across states. Just financially gaining, it was just great. The American system worked. Which being said, 2011, I filed bankruptcy. So like talking about, the whole I was put into the thrown into like the market in 2008 and all that, and then coming out of college and things like that. So you can imagine, but just thrown into it, credit went upside down. Did that start had a whole new start. Bankruptcy, it worked. Bankruptcy. Donald Trump talks about it. It works. The idea of bankruptcy is you're not trying to abuse the system. You're using it because it's there. It's in place for you to start over. So I started over, got a good job, and just started progressing. Bought a house, did that whole thing, and then again going back to the American system. Now dealing with the EOC again. Kaepernick dealing with the EOC as well. So going through that whole court process. That's been a blast because it's really been challenging the American system. That's kind of what I want to bring up. Is like I'm going to challenge the American system. I have faith that it's there for us, and I feel like good because I know like kind of basically what happened is I was discriminated against. But whatever, we'll get into details about all that. That's kind of what this whole thing is about is challenging the American system with it's a perfect scenario, I guess you can call it. So discrimination, as you can see, um, I would say I'm a normal person, but I don't know. I do come from it's a different background. I mean, Middle Eastern, North African. So, and then my father's from Mexico, so two immigrants. My mother comes from North Africa. Long story behind that, but again, we'll get into all that. Like it all plays a part into kind of the American system. So just discrimination, getting attorneys, that whole process, keeping silent. The attorneys tell you you can't talk about it, but I'm like, no, I want to talk about it. I want people to know what I'm going through. I don't have anything to hide. So, like, when I tell you that I can be 100% raw about it, I can because I played the whole system the right way. The way it was supposed to be. I worked hard, got along with all my coworkers, knew about their families, and just, I mean, I'll tell you one guy I worked with in Modesto, Alan Brima, just to give you a little spec. I mean, this guy told me about how he walked through the Jordanian desert, or the Jordan desert, excuse me. the Jordan Desert near Iraq and like to escape. And he came to America for a better life, and he's living it. He said it's a great, and to do that. And it'd be like somebody who's homegrown, nothing against him, but I'm glad it worked. That's what it was. Basically, I'm like, I want mine. I worked hard for mine, so why am I being shut down and shunned? So that's kind of what that whole process is about. And kind of catching up right into the middle of it. Right now we're in the heat of it, settlements. It's a multi-million-dollar case, so like I want to talk about all that. I'm happy about it, and I'm working really hard for it. A guy who uses the American system, and now I really need it, and I'm counting on it, and I think it's going to be there. I have some. Hopefully, I'll pick up some supporters along the way, but I need everybody to understand that I'm not going to be acceptable to your feedback. And the reason why is because when you talk about the court of law, anything can get interpreted. So it's not to be rude to you guys, to the followers. Like I have to be 100%. So like I think the best way to do that is there is no feedback. I don't need feedback. I just want people to watch it, see how the American system plays out with no influence. Don't care about reporters, don't care about any of that stuff. It'll just be, silence in a sense. I'll still talk about what I feel like I want to talk about, and the rest of it will stay silent. I don't need influence by anybody, and I have faith in the system that it will work with influence. So that's kind of that whole series, and I'm excited about it. I'm not, another thing that I'm trying to do to incorporate in all of this is I live out here in Saipan, so I'm working with the local Chamorros. I talked about it on my Twitter feed, and the wages, not even just the wages, I mean, it's everything. So just to help those guys out, it's cool. There's a lot a lot of work we got to do out here. So it's cool, keeps me busy out here. I like that. I enjoy that type of work. Making $7.25 an hour. So, but it's not about the money. It never was about the money. So that's kind of what my whole life is going to be back for the next couple of years until we finish up this litigation with CarMax. It's going to be a wild ride. And like I said, I'm 3 years in right now, and I been writing in a journal every so often and documenting everything. And I started this campaign on Twitter, so it's my similar campaign. Talk about all that stuff. You guys can follow that. But all right, again, my name is Julian Uzan Villanueva, or Julien Uzon Villanueva. I guess throwing a little bit of my culture in there. But all right. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you on the internet.